Hi, I'm Matt from Askia's London office. In this short video I'm going to demonstrate how you can base the percentages of your results on the number of mentions on a multi-coded question rather than the number of respondents in your file. I have an example CAS file here with 853 respondents in it, which also contains a multi-coded question called Q1, and the counts for each answer given at Q1 adds to more than 853. Now ordinarily, if I were to analyse Q1 and show the percentages, we would see that the percentages add to more than 100%, as we can see in this view here, because it's a multi-coded variable that we're using. However, if we choose the calculation type mention rate for this question and look at the results, we'll see that there's a second set of percentages, and these are calculated using the total number of responses given for Q1 rather than the 853 respondents in our file. Unfortunately, if we want to do a cross table of Q1 by Q2, for example, we'll find that the mention rate calculation type is not available. So we need to approach this in a different way. So I'll now demonstrate two ways in which you can show the percentages of Q1 based on mention rate and have a cross analysis with Q2. The first is through the use of edges. If we select Q2 and drag it into the edges of our table and ensure that under the Settings and Breaks tab we tick one tab for every response in edges, we can then see that mention rate is still available, and by clicking on the results we'll see that we have a table for each element or each modality or answer at Q2. The first being extremely important, and by hitting F4 on my keypad I can move on to the next table. See, very important, and we would have a table for each answer at Q2. However, you may need to see the output of Q1 against Q2 all on one page and have the percentages based on mention rate rather than on the number of respondents. So in this final section of video I will go on to demonstrate how you can do this by creating a loop populated from the data of Q1 and through the use of levels. So firstly we need to open up this CAS file within Design, and we're going to add some additional variables in here. The first variable that I'm going to add, which I will then turn into a loop, I'll call loop from Q1. Indicate that it is a loop. Select standard question table, and I will link this back to the answers that we have in our Q1 variable. I'll then create a question or variable within that loop, which is a closed question. Give it a long caption reference, and put in a couple of answer categories. I then need to put in a routing which I'll turn into an edit that actually populates that variable from the information at Q1. So I want to indicate that if Q1 has a particular answer not selected, then I should set the value of my new variable Q1 yes to be equal to 2, whereas I want it set to 1 if they have selected the particular response at Q1. Of course, in order for those edits to take effect, we will need to open the KES file in Tools and run the edits. Once the edits have finished running, we can see the effect that that has had to the data in Analyze. So if we compare each of those variables to Q1, then we can see how they've been populated. Now that we have our data within a loop, we can use levels in combination with a new subpopulation to achieve the same effect as mention rate. So firstly, I will define a subpopulation, which is those who have given at least one answer at Q1. Then I will select as the level for my analysis the recently defined and populated loop from Q1. As my rows, I will drag and drop the loop, holding down the Control key. And as my columns, my other question which I want as breaks. Now when I click on Results and open up the table, I can see that my percentages are based on the total number of mentions. And I have Q2 as a cross break. And these percentages here will be the same as if I selected Q1 for my analysis and mention rate. I hope you found this useful and picked up a few new tips. But as always, if you've got any questions, then please contact the support team at Askia on support@askia.com. Thanks very much for watching.